Unions at BAE Systems in Brough say that they're fearful that manufacturing at the site near Hull could be lost completely by the middle of next year. It comes after talks with the Kuwaiti government to buy a new round of Hawk jets ended without agreement. Hundreds of job losses, which had been put on hold in the hope that this deal could now be reached, now look set to go ahead. Well, our reporter Caroline Bilton is in Brough at the moment. Just how damaging, Caroline, is this for BAE not to get this contract?
Well, this deal, these talks, whatever form they came in, however concrete they may have been, well, they gave hope. And tonight, those hopes have been dashed. For a company that has been operating in a hand-to-mouth way now for a number of years, these talks were crucial in securing the future for manufacturing here at BAE Systems in Brough. And tonight, there is a real fear that manufacturing here could go altogether. The Hawk aircraft can be seen flying in the skies over Lincolnshire regularly. These types of aircraft have been the bread and butter for BAE Systems in Brough for many years. 40% of the Hawk is manufactured here, but work is drying up. Hopes were resting on a deal with the Kuwaiti government to secure contracts for the future, but to no avail. 246 manufacturing jobs are at risk, and there are fears it could lead to the loss of manufacturing here completely.
We've got work until the middle towards the end of next year, and after that we've got nothing from a manufacturing point of view.
Neil Daw has worked at Brough for 42 years. He talks of a feeling of unease amongst staff.
I know we're continuing through an existing redundancy programme, but people are being left in limbo. They don't know whether they're leaving or whether they're staying, and it affects them and it affects their families because they can't plan the futures.
Aircraft have been made at Brough since 1916, with British Aerospace, now BAE Systems, taking over in the 1970s. That's when around 5,000 people worked there. By 2011, that had shrunk to around 1,300, and in 2012, another 500 jobs were lost. Today, just 900 people work at the site in Brough. The work here is split into two parts, manufacturing for Hawk jets and engineering jobs developing technology for the new Tempest jet fighter, which is planned for 2035. The company stressed today there was never a real commitment to a deal with the Kuwaiti government. It says the job losses are part of a redundancy programme announced in 2017. Either way, 246 highly skilled workers are left fearing for their future.
I am very aware of the number of people impacted by this and the number of jobs and the history, over 100 years of manufacturing at that site, and the idea that that could be gone within the next 12 months is just devastating.
It's going to kill the village. It really will. It'll finish the village. The banks have gone. They cut down at BA, and now that's going as well. Well, how many can be left? Not many.
I was there. It was lots of people. And yeah, it's very sad, and I hope that they get it going again.
With no new orders lined up, talk today wasn't of if, but when manufacturing would be mothballed here, bringing an end to an industry that's been at the heart of this town for over a century. Well, they have been here before, and there are hopes that they can come back again. There is now faith being placed in the government that a contract can be found for new Hawk jets for this company to try and pull it back from the cliff edge. David Davis MP is meeting with the Defence Minister, Minister for Procurement next week. And the company has told us tonight that it is working alongside trade unions to do everything it can to support those who tonight are indeed fearing the worst. Peter.
Caroline, thank you very much indeed. Caroline mentioned the government there. Well, earlier this afternoon I spoke to the MP for Beverley and Holderness, Graham Stewart, about the breakdown of these talks. He works in the government's Department for International Trade. Mr. Stewart, do you know why the government discussions with Kuwait have come to nothing?
Well, I know a lot of effort was put into them, Peter, and there was real hope to give certainty and security to manufacturing workers at Brough. So it's extremely disappointing that despite all the effort that's gone in, that they haven't been successfully concluded.
Was this wishful thinking more on BAE's part rather than more than any sort of commitment from the Kuwaiti government, which hadn't been given, had it?
Well, the whole staff at BAE and management work together, and I have to say I praise the unions, who are some of the most proficient advocates on behalf of the plant, and I've dealt with for many years. They do a great job. You do not get certainty until you sign a contract, and most of the contracts that Brough has ever had have been up in the air until the last minute. In this case, it hasn't landed, but if we'd taken that attitude at previous contracts, we wouldn't have won them, and we wouldn't have been able to sustain the fantastic workforce that adds so much to our area.
You are a Minister for Investment with the government. What is the government going to do now as a matter of urgency to try and ensure that these highly skilled jobs at Brough are not lost?
Well, it's a great question. The government is working strongly with BAE to help them find other contracts. The silver lining, if you like, though, that's no, it doesn't make up for the threatened job losses today, but is that quite a lot of people have been retrained to the engineering as opposed to the manufacturing side of the business. That's a growing part of the business, so one way or another, I'm hopeful and expecting that we will have a positive future for the plant and for BAE's, as you say, highly skilled employees there.
Mr. Stewart, very good to talk to you tonight. Thank you very much indeed for your time.
Nice to talk to you.
The MP for Beverley and Holderness, Graham Stewart, talking to me earlier on. Of course, we have been following the developments at BAE and Brough for what seems like the last 5 or 6 years, and we will continue to do so if there are any developments on that.